Hello, welcome to another McLaren Fans podcast. I'm your host, Andy Donnelly. Joining me, as always, this week is Sarah Merritt. Say hello, Sarah.
Hello, and I'm also joined by the McLaren doggo on tour as part of my video. So, hello, Fraggle, you're here with us.
Excellent. Yes, hello, Fraggle the dog, McLaren's most famous K9 supporter. And joining us this week to discuss Baku and all things McLaren is Simon Bell. Hi, Simon. How are you doing?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, right. Should we just crack straight into it?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's go there. So, Baku, quali, interesting. I always think that we need a bit of a tour for this one.
Did you say toe?
Tour, yeah, as in TOW, not T.
Sorry, I was just checking because I thought you said tour, and immediately I was thinking of Lando's tour of Azerbaijan and Baku that he did. So I thought you were going down that path. You mean we need a toe? I'm with you now. Essex
Right.
people, he means toe.
For everyone in the south, Sarah's just translated. There you go.
Yes, it's one of those circuits, isn't it, with that long straight that.
Yeah.
Is the difference in the sectors? You've got to set your car up, and then you've got to sort of plan for that teamwork on that straight, because it's just such a deficit. You need the downforce everywhere else, and then you're crippled on that straight, which I think we were hampered by a bit and didn't then do. From what I could see, we didn't really do the strategy on the quali.
Yeah, it's quite strange because I noticed that obviously Perez had the problem on the Red Bull, so they didn't get that. But when Ferrari went out and got pole, they didn't do a tour either. So, yeah, it's quite a strange one. But yeah, I sat there thinking, why are we not doing this like I expected in quali? And had something gone wrong, really? I guess that was the question. Do we think something's gone wrong with a kind of strategy on quali this weekend? Did we need to do something different, I guess, is the question. I think certainly
it's a difficult one, you know. Yeah. It's very easy. I saw someone tweet this weekend actually talking about Lewis Hamilton, saying that's good that a 47-year-old person that sits on their sofa thinks they know all the answers to this. So let me turn that around for us as well. It's very easy for us to say, oh, we didn't have the right strategy. You know, Randy, our strategist, we know he knows his stuff. And when they get it right, we're the first people to be going, yeah, well done, we've got the right strategy. They obviously work through many combinations of what we could do here, what we could do there, what about this, what about that. It's really hard to just say we got the wrong strategy. I think the circuit didn't favour our car, and maybe they were just doing the best they could with it. And sometimes that's all we can ask for. You know, critical fans will be on social media going, oh, it's not good enough, we want more. Well, yeah, we always want more, but supportive people like us will also say, maybe we got the best result this weekend that we were ever going to achieve on that circuit with this car at this time. Discuss.
yeah. I think kind of Q2 and just getting into Q3 is our level this season.
Yeah.
I still want to kind of remind everybody out there that we're probably about 2 months behind the development curve of most other teams because of what happened in Bahrain. So we're still playing catch up with that. So I don't think we'll see the real potential of this car until maybe September, October, maybe.
Oh, September, is that when Monza is?
Yeah.
Temple
of Speed.
Yes. Did we not do quite well there last year? I'm not sure if we mentioned on the.
I have no idea what happened. I think I was running a race.
I think we did all right.
Somebody rang me right in the middle of a half marathon.
I rang you and I went, Donnelly, we've won. And he went, what?
Yeah. It didn't quite work earlier this year when I did another run and the race was on. We didn't do too well then. So
No, and Andy's been avoiding races on purpose, thinking it would bring us luck, but so far it's not turned out to be the
Yeah.
case.
All that's happened is I've got a little bit fitter and running a little bit faster. Maybe I need that Donnelly reduction system.
DRS, yes. Although Yuki Tsunoda's Donnelly reduction system wasn't working very well this weekend, was it? Did you
No.
see the gaffer tape?
I love the
gaffer tape.
technical aspect of putting some silver tape on it to keep it from blowing in the wind.
You know, if it's Gorilla Tape, other brands are available. They say you can fix anything with it. So, you know.
Keeps aircraft in the air, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
The speed tape.
You could hear Yuki on the radio going, "What is that?" You know, he was like, well, yeah. You're sellotaping my car back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simon,
Anyway,
what
back
did
to
you? Yeah. Simon, what did you think about quali? What was your sort of?
It was tough.
take on it?
I think quality, like you say, I think probably is our level this year, and it's quite, considering where we were last year, it's quite difficult to swallow because we're on this sort of curve of going up, and yeah, we're a few weeks behind now with development, so it's challenging to watch because we always want more. It's challenging. You've got to sort of, and I've probably said things certainly while I've been speaking, and probably saying, "Oh, come on, we should be doing better," but you've got to sort of sit and take stock. But it does feel, yeah, some bits feel like, I don't know whether it's like you say, missed strategy, missed mistakes, and like I say, Sarah, you know, sometimes maybe they do have to, and all of us go, yeah, we got it wrong, you know, for this particular bit, we got it wrong, and we need to learn from it and sort of go on to the next time. It was a difficult qualifying. Seemed to be during, when looking at practice, there was a much wider spread at this circuit at times.
Yes.
And the top four, you know, Ferrari and Red Bull just in a league of their own. So anything sort of anybody else in Q3 was going to be fantastic. So yeah, it was, and then it sort of very, very challenging to get into Q3. So yeah, probably our best lot. Previously on previous rules, I would have said slot 11 and 12 would have been fantastic because of the tyre choice. But you don't get that now. So
that's very true. And I will just divert slightly from the order of the agenda to say, you know, as we talk about the race, as we come off quali and go towards talking about the race, just before the race, Lando was interviewed on what I call the toilet run, as we all know. And immediately they said, "What's this race going to be like? What's your car going to be like? What sort of car have you got?" And he went, "Oh, I don't know, but we're the slowest by a second in the speed traps." And my heart sank at that point because I hadn't realised that. So I immediately went off and Googled and looked, and I shared that with you, Andy, didn't I?
Yeah, it's on the agenda later on. So, but
we were the two slowest cars, and that made my heart sink because I'm the fan that always wants to, you know, be optimistic, but it's hard to be optimistic when you see those facts. You know,
can I give you some optimistic facts that I can see from that list that you shared?
Please do so, Mr. Donnelly.
Right. So on one hand, the bottom four cars are all Mercedes powered. So we are where we are. We know that it's that. However, if you look a bit further up there, you could see that Sebastian Vettel, who's also in a Mercedes powered car, was pretty much in the top 10, I think it was.
I'm just looking now.
Yeah.
Who is Mr. Vettel? Yeah, I mean he's second from the top on the speed trap.
So
323 kilometers per hour.
So my question would be, is that because he got a toe off Lance Stroll or something else like that? But the disparity between the Aston or Vettel and the other Mercedes makes me think that maybe the speed traps that we've gone through, we've not been full pelt getting a toe, and maybe Vettel did, and maybe actually in reality we're a little bit more in the middle rather than at the bottom.
Okay, I'll take that. I like the optimism. I was agreeing with Mr. Norris, the man that drives one of our cars, and I thought, you know, if he says it, then it must be true.
Yeah, but that's obviously you know, kind of for Baku, for somewhere like, I don't know, maybe Monza, maybe we're not going to suffer too much in that respect, or somewhere else. Yeah. But yeah, maybe power circuits where Spa particularly might be a bit of a drag, but there you go.
Talking of
But yeah, I
drag,
don't think they're right.
Are you talking about drag?
Yeah.
I'd probably say, like I say, with the speed traps. I mean, I always see it, whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know. I'm not an aerodynamicist, but speed traps are great. Like I say, for the straight line, and Baku obviously got, like we say, got massive straight. But we're looking at where the flip side of that in sort of medium speed, high speed corners where you may be carrying a lot of downforce. I know maybe again Baku setup wise, that's sector 2 in Baku. You need some good downforce on that. From sort of turn 12 to turn 15. So it's that sort of sector around there, and helping around with tyres as well. Yeah, again, only sort of my couch, strategist look. It seems to be that offset. Maybe, set up for this time. Maybe could have gone a little bit more balanced, and maybe not as heavy on the downforce, and they made it a little bit more slippy. And like I say, maximising the toe. So yeah, some lessons maybe to be learned from setup for this weekend.
Do you know what? I think the couch strategist would be a really good Twitter name. Somebody out there should grab that.
Yeah.
Speaking, the strategist that speaks with hindsight every week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I got 2020 hindsight vision. That's
what I'd have done? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What was that Harry Enfield character that used to go, "Oh, you don't want to do it like that."
Oh, you don't do that.
Other comedy characters are available as well.
Yes.
So should we get on to the race?
Well, we have segued nicely in that direction, haven't we already?
Yes. So it was interesting that they split the strategy to start with Danny Rick on the hard and Lando on the mediums.
Good move, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, good move.
Yeah.
It was just a few options throughout the race. Certainly gave us the options to move Lando onto a 2-stop if that became the fastest one. So I kind of was quite happy with that.
I was quite happy with it when I saw they were doing it, but the actual results of what happened with that split strategy in the tyres was not what I expected. But
I think there's some extra factors that need to go into that.
Oh, the X factor, right?
X factor, yeah. Which kind of really kind of made our race or didn't make our race. If we go on to the sort of pit stops, I think they were probably going to push Lando a little bit further, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it was either Magnussen or Leclerc whose Ferrari engine blew up. I can't remember there was that many Ferrari engines that blew up in the race. But one of those two. And I think we kind of panicked thinking there might be a full-on safety car or something like that. And I think it could have been it could have been Leclerc because he came back into pits, didn't he? So I think we pulled the trigger, panicked a little bit maybe. Could have been completely the right call, and we could have been sitting quite pretty further up the field. And I think, strategist hindsight would say that we should have sort of, kind of gone the other way, stayed out or something like that. But we could have also, on the flip side, ended up with, Lando being quite far up. Instead, he came out 16th. Which gave him a lot to do.
And what was he doing, Andy, when that happened?
So yeah, in my notes here, he was going for the overcoat.
He was going for the overcoat. That's right, podcast listeners. Andy thinks that Lando Norris was going for the overcoat. Not even the undercoat, the overcoat.
Yeah.
But definitely he was probably trying for the overcut, wasn't he?
Yes. Obviously, if he was going for the overcoat, then he was obviously a little bit chilly in the car. Probably had a cold bottom like Lewis.
And they definitely weren't chilly out there in Baku. So everyone listening, please feel free to tweet Andy pictures and gifs of overcoats from now on, because we want to make sure that he's definitely aware of this one.
I do believe McLaren do an overcoat,
They will now.
some sort of rain jacket overcoat thing. I'm sure
They
there's
might
one out
do,
there.
but it won't arrive in time for whenever you want it.
No.
Baku 2023, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did laugh when I saw the Father's Day email come out earlier. I thought it's Monday. That ain't never arriving in time, is it?
No.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll get on the kit another time. I think we'll probably have a whole podcast on that one. So yeah, so Simon, what did you kind of think about how that sort of panned out?
I think with the split strategy, it seemed that I know there was a lot of discussion over the radio. I think they should have done the switch. It looked like Danny had more pace on the hards, so I think they should have done the switch as the team strategy. But there was a lot of conversation on it, and I just think it should have released him, let him go, see how far he could push it. That hard tyre with Danny seemed to work really well. His pace was there, which I did not expect. Because of the hard tyre, I expected him to just drop back and not have the grip at the start, but he did, and he was right there with Lando. So I think a switch would have maybe changed our race completely and let him get off a bit and maybe attack, even if taking some of the life out of them, to then have some of the VSCs where you've got less damage from that pit. When Leclerc, I think it was Leclerc's engine that blew, initially saw it on the main straight, and I was thinking, great, okay, that could be a safety car, give us a good chance, make some of the strategy. And then he starts pulling into the pit lane. I'm thinking, no, don't do anything, because that's going to stop the pit lane. We're not going to be able to get in at all. So yeah, really challenging from that point of view. So yeah, where the strategist getting it wrong, well, not getting it wrong, having a difficult time during the race on that one. But I think the switch, they should have switched and let Danny go at that point and see what he could do with it.
Yes.
All right, go on
disagree,
then.
Sarah.
I don't agree or disagree. I don't think I'm in possession of all of the data and the facts. So I trusted them on this occasion. Just like at the end of the race when Lando was quite vocally going, why can't I overtake? Why can't I overtake? And they said, no, he held for you. We're going to hold for him. I thought, yeah, that's fair. Lando might have finished one place up. He wasn't going to catch Alonso at that point. So I tend to think at the moment, a team where we're not struggling too much, but not as good as we want to be, requires team players, and both drivers are working on developing that car. And what I don't want them to do is turn into Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg and start trying to that's just not the sort of relationship that will make our team get better and move forward. So I accepted it. Maybe because I'm a girl, I don't know, or maybe that's nothing to do with it. But I accepted it that was the right decision because they'd made it. Andy, you're probably going to say something totally different.
Oh, I'm just going to sort of bring in the comment there.
On the fence.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. Yeah, can bother me or not. No, I think the comment you made there about the inter-team fighting of drivers and stuff like that. I noticed that there seems to be a bit of a narrative on Sky F1 Channel 4 about Lando versus Daniel, and that they're not. And this is something that's come out in the last sort of couple of races, because obviously Dan's not done too well. But they seem to be trying to play this narrative, and one which I don't really think is there at all. A bit like they tried to do the sort of Carlos and Lando thing.
Yeah,
Wasn't there as well on the Netflix. Similarly, ultimately, I think driver in any position is going to want what is best for him, and is going to be vocal about it. And anyone out there that thinks that Dan wasn't doing the same thing earlier on in the race that Lando was later on probably hasn't been kind of following the sport long enough to sort of understand that. But that's the way it probably is. We only get snippets of what's broadcast.
Yep, that's what I was just going to say that. Yep.
I think me and you, Sarah, we've been quite lucky in our lifetime to have been in the garage and listened to the team radio. And the thing that's always kind of surprised me was its constant chatter.
Yeah.
It's not quiet like you think that's in little snippets of It's like we're talking here now all the way through, and the FIA or FOM, whoever, only decides to broadcast what brings drama, what brings entertainment, what causes controversy to the masses. And basically, once you understand that it's a conversation between a race engineer, a driver, and the team, you then start to see that the context is very different.
Yes, certainly when they do these sort of edits, these cut and paste edits, where they grab a bit out and then play it next to another bit, they introduce a narrative that obviously is fictitious, and we have to be aware of that. But it's difficult. I know what they're trying to do. I read Twitter, I see the people on there, I know what they're looking for. I stay away from a lot of them. So I do feel that they are trying to add entertainment sometimes, where maybe purists like the three of us would just like the facts. In fact, listening to the whole of our team radio would be fascinating, although that will not happen because obviously we'd be giving it away to the other teams then. But yeah, you're hearing bits and pieces, and you have to assume that you're not hearing the full, the full story.
You can tell when they play it on the Sky or on whatever coverage, and they play the team radio out and go, yeah, okay, we're in old position, we've got 3 laps, or we've got 5 laps to go, and there's only 2 laps left. And you go, somebody in the background going, oh, that'll look good together. Let's put that there. Do the little snippets and put it out.
How many times do you find after the event does somebody then post, here's the full transcript? They give you a much better idea of what's gone on a couple of days later, and you think, oh, it wasn't like that at all.
Exactly. And the most recent really, really good example of that was after Monaco, when Danny hit the wall and Tom Stallard was talking to him, and people were going, oh my God, that McLaren engineer, who we know is a very nice person, very knowledgeable, and has worked with the team for years. Oh, look at him. He didn't care about Dan at all. He just wanted to know about the car. He didn't know Dan had hit the wall at that point. He didn't know. He was watching the data. So, once you read the full transcript of that, you realise exactly what you've said there. Yep.
Yeah. Fair enough. Right. I think 8th and 9th was a pretty good result for us. I kind of think 2 cars in the points.
Yep.
I'm going to take that definitely all the time this season. I'll take that. I'll take a 9th and 10th. I'll take a 5th and 6th. I'll take a 1 and 2.
That sounds like you're going to the toilet, Andy, and I think you should. The podcast is going downhill.
I think more importantly, those results, 8th, 9th, 5th, 6th, 1 and 2, whichever, I think personally, I'd take that result either way around. I don't care if it's Danny or if it's Lando, to be honest. I care if it's McLaren or not. And there's still this stigma that's coming through. Yeah, Danny's not had a great sort of season. It's challenging getting the car. We've all been over the ins and outs of why it is, and Lando maybe getting a bit more performance, but it's either way around. Just getting up there as a team, like I say, play those strategies, get into the points, maximise what you can get every weekend. That's the key.
Yep, totally. Consistently scoring points, ticking away. All you need is someone to retire and not make it to the end. They've scored no points this weekend. Look at Ferrari this weekend. Look how things are changing. So we're chipping away at it, and if we keep doing that, we don't have reliability problems. Both cars make it to the end, and we score some points along the way.
Let me give you a consistency stat that I quite like.
Ooh, go on then.
So, this is not something I've sort of researched. So, hi, I'm a Charlotte on Twitter has tweeted this, and I have to mention it because it's brilliant. So, Lando Norris, started 69 Grand Prix for us.
Good number.
Out of that,
they don't make the obvious joke.
I am me. I can't help it.
Out of that, 9 have been DNFs. 7 of them were actual car issues.
Yeah.
Out of the rest, that's 50 races he's been in the points for us. So that's 10 races that he's failed to score points. That is incredible consistency. anyone who thinks that Lando is not the driver that people say he is needs to look at that. So there you go. And if you're listening, hi, I'm Charlotte. Drop us a DM and we'll send you some Google wheels, which we'll get on doing later.
Are you offering up my merchandise, man?
Yes.
We will. We'll get onto those in a minute.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great stat to kind of find. And, you know, let's hope it continues in a similar vein.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're going to have tracks this season where we're not that great. We're going to have tracks this season where we fly. It's just the way it is.
Yes, it's just the way it is.
So, let's just talk about car development. Very quickly. Obviously, we're sort of a little bit behind everyone else. But we're also kind of constrained by the cost cap. So I think a lot of teams, maybe Alpine and Aston, have brought stuff a little bit ahead of the curve of what we have, really. What are your thoughts on that, Simon?
I think, yeah, the cost cap is quite worrying. I think maybe with some of the work we had to do early on, there's probably into a bit of that capital that we've got, that allowance that we've got. So then, yeah, like a bit of catch up. I mean, Zach, Christian, Mattia Binotto, Wolf are all saying, you know, there's going to be challenges later on in the season where cost cap is going to seriously impact.
Yep.
So I'm quite hopeful if teams like Alpine and Aston are maybe using some of their budget now early on, because it might reduce some of the gap we've got.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll run out of money.
With any luck.
And we might be frugally sneaking it in along the way. You know, that's what I'm hoping. But you mentioned the other team principals there, and I think that's a really good point, because I've seen a lot of talk about the fact that they've also spoken about not only what they're spending on the car, and if there's a crash like Haas, you know, that they're burning their budget on parts and replacement, but also about things that are affecting you and I as well, like the cost of electricity going up, the cost of fuel, that kind of thing. So all of those things were unforeseen when the budget cap was set in place, and those costs have increased. So the cost of even running the factory for each of the teams must have increased, you know, quite a lot as well.
I think, you know, what could work is that you get a certain percentage already of like leeway, but maybe increasing that percentage of leeway, given what's happened, makes it a little bit fairer.
Yeah.
Rather than
depending on where you're based.
Yeah.
If you're in the UK, you get a massive leeway. On the continent, not so much.
Yeah, quite possibly. But I think certainly it needs to be looked at. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's something that comes out of the summer break when they've got a bit of time to look at it, because my understanding is the budget cap was set 2 or 3 years ago, before these were going to come in. The whole, you know, before COVID, before everything else, the world has changed dramatically since then. So I think it definitely needs to be looked at. But yeah, it would be a real shame if, come towards the end of the season, even a team like Haas, who we know have a bit of financial sort of constraints to start with, can't attend the race because of budget constraints. That would look really bad on FOM, the FIA, and not really on Haas. It's not that it wouldn't really be their fault. In that respect, that, you know, they've come for a racing season, and they are, they have Ken Magnussen, who's experienced, but they've got Mick, who's had a few incidents and stuff. Where they are in the field, there's always going to be incidents and stuff, so they're going to probably be betting a little bit more than, say, a Red Bull would be, or something like that. So I think I'd not like to see it get to that point where a team just can't turn up for a race because they can't afford it. It just it just kind of makes a mockery of the sport.
Yeah, that would be a really poor situation to be in, wouldn't it? I'm trying to think of some gimmicky way that people can buy back a bit of extra budget, like trade points for it or something like that. Or
well, if you're a team that's got more points, what can you do?
I know. I'm just playing around with the ideas of what could we do to give someone the opportunity, if they've run out of budget, to somehow trade it or do something about it.
Sell some of their merchandise at extortionate prices.
Well, there's
But they do that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, what about taking a grid penalty to, starting at the back?
Yeah.
Do you think that would give someone an incentive to come through the field all the way to the front? Start from the back for an extra million or something. I don't know. I'm playing around with the idea.
It's not a bad idea. It could work, but
But what I'm thinking here is we really want our listeners to hit us up after this podcast and tell us their suggestions. Let's hear what everyone thinks on this. What's the solution to running out of budget?
Here's the first tweet that I've got in from a Mr. C. Horner in Oxford.
Is he married to a Spice Girl?
Andy,
I don't want to hear any
likes
more.
The 90s, yeah.
I don't want to hear any more from C. Horner. All right, he's on Sky, he's on everything else enough. Don't want to hear any more.
Let's go to the pit wall now. Christian, what's your views on it?
Yeah, you're like, oh, sod off. What I'd really like is for Mattia Bonotto to actually stand up and go, oh, today was awful. Our cars both broke down, and not just go quiet, I want some passion.
I just want them to get Franz Tost back on again, because he was absolutely hilarious and really got angry with Crofty. I think they've never asked him again because of that.
I think Franz Tost and Gunther Steiner on the pit wall are the two best. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Right. Okay. So we're coming towards the end of this episode. Sarah, I believe that you've got a nice little product.
I have, but I didn't bring any upstairs with me to record the podcast because I'm an idiot. So let me show you all on screen. And for those of you listening, I'm holding my mobile phone up to the camera. So I love the wheels on the car. I love the design. I love the way they look. I like seeing them when the car's stationary. I like seeing them when the car's moving. I love them. I think they're great. And interestingly, I got a tweet from someone this week who works for Google. And he said, I'm buying one of your key rings because I'm a McLaren fan. I work for Google, and I've been waiting for someone to bring something out to celebrate this partnership. So anyway, I designed some key rings, fridge magnets and badges. They're all the same size for the body of it, which is 35 millimeters across. They're really good quality. They're die-cast metal. The colours are bright. They feel heavy in your hand. They're brilliant. And I'm not just saying that because I've designed them, but I always feel that as a fan, I'm making the things that I've always wanted to buy. So guys, hit me up on Twitter. Have a look at my Etsy store, which is called Sari Wears Wares. But I do tweet lots of links to it if you want to cheat and go in that way. But Google wheels are there. There's other McLaren badges and magnets and key rings as well. But I think they're pretty funky and unique for what we've got on our car. So take a look and let me know what you think. And maybe we'll do a giveaway in the next podcast, Andy.
Sounds like a good idea. Why not?
Excellent.
Great stuff. Right. Let's got a few minutes left. In a couple of words, how do you think we're going to do in Canada, Simon?
I'm quietly optimistic.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, double points again.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, if we learn a bit from the strategy, it's a lot very different from Baku. It's a lot faster, more of an even set out, I'd say, around the circuit. More than 2 words, but yeah, quietly optimistic.
It's good. What about you, Sarah?
It's only a short time until we go there. Even when I heard Mercedes talking about the problems with Lewis and the porpoising and his back, they said, we'll try and sort something out for the next race. And I thought, bloody hell, it's only a few days till you're there. And I don't think that's enough time for us to make any major changes. unless we've already planned what's coming through. So I don't think we're reacting to the last race. I think we're on the path that's already been set, if you know what I mean. Still a street circuit though, isn't it? On the island there, a bit bumpy. It's got cars on it, bits of white lines and things. So be interesting. I'd be hoping for double points again, but I think we might still be relying on other cars in front of us not making it to the end.
Well, that's fair enough. I think, you know, if another couple of Ferrari engines blow up and we get some places because of that, that's the way it is.
It is. Got to cross the line.
Yeah. Right. That wraps it up for this week. Thanks for joining us, Simon.
No, thanks for having me. It's good.
Yeah. And Sarah, I will catch up with you next week for Canada, and hopefully we'll see McLaren Doggo out there around on his world tour as well. Sarah,
yes, hopefully someone's got a postcard out there, but at least McLaren Doggo's here with us tonight. So
yeah. All right. Cheers, guys.
Bye.